The earth shakes beneath your feet. The ground rumbles as millions of gallons of water cascade into the massive concrete canyon. Slowly, majestically, a steel behemoth emerges from the shadows. A nuclear-powered submarine, longer than a football field, armed with enough firepower to level entire cities, now suspended in this man-made cavern for critical repairs that will keep America safe. This is no ordinary maintenance facility. This is a U.S. Navy dry dock, one of the most impressive engineering feats in modern military infrastructure. Today, we take you inside the remarkable world of submarine dry docks, where the Navy's silent service is kept in fighting shape through a process few civilians ever witness. You're about to see how the world's most advanced submarines are rolled out and launched after complex repairs, a delicate dance of precision engineering that ensures American naval dominance beneath the waves. If you've ever wondered how these underwater giants are serviced and returned to the seas, type yes in the comments below. The U.S. Navy operates the most powerful submarine fleet on the planet, but that power requires constant maintenance to ensure readiness. When these complex vessels need repairs that can't be done underwater, they enter one of the Navy's specialized dry docks, engineering marvels that allow these massive submarines to be worked on in completely dry conditions. The process we're about to explore is nothing short of extraordinary, a testament to American engineering prowess and the dedication of thousands of skilled workers who maintain our naval advantage. Let's begin with understanding exactly what these facilities are and why they're so critical to our national defense. Dry docks are specialized facilities designed to remove ships and submarines from water, allowing access to the entire hull for maintenance and repairs. The U.S. Navy operates several types of these facilities across major naval bases. What makes submarine dry docks particularly special is their size and complexity. Nuclear submarines, some weighing over 18,000 tons and spanning more than 500 feet in length, require massive infrastructure to service properly. The Navy operates 4 public shipyards, with a combined 18 dry docks dedicated to servicing nuclear-powered vessels, both submarines and aircraft carriers. These facilities are located at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard in Washington, Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard in Hawaii, Norfolk Naval Shipyard in Virginia, and Portsmouth Naval Shipyard in Maine. But these aren't just oversized garages for submarines. They're engineering marvels that must contend with enormous mechanical challenges while meeting the stringent safety requirements for handling nuclear vessels. Each dry dock requires precise engineering calculations to ensure submarines are properly supported once the water is removed. Remember, these vessels are designed to operate in water, where buoyancy distributes their massive weight evenly. On land, supporting that weight becomes a complex challenge, requiring specialized equipment and expertly trained personnel. Now, let's walk through the remarkable process of how a submarine enters, is serviced, and ultimately returns to the sea through one of these impressive facilities. When a submarine requires extensive maintenance that can't be performed while afloat, it begins a carefully choreographed journey into dry dock. This process starts months in advance with detailed planning by Navy engineers and maintenance specialists. The submarine first approaches the dry dock entrance, guided by tugboats that maneuver the massive vessel with remarkable precision. This is no small feat. Imagine threading a needle with a 500-foot metal tube weighing thousands of tons. The dry dock itself has been prepared with a series of wooden blocks positioned on the floor according to a precise docking plan that matches the submarine's hull shape. These blocks will support the entire weight of the vessel once the water is drained. As the submarine enters the dock, it passes through massive gates that will later seal it off from the ocean. Skilled divers often assist in this process, ensuring the submarine is perfectly aligned over the support blocks. This is critical. If the submarine isn't positioned correctly, it could become damaged when the water is drained and its full weight settles onto the blocks. Once in position, the gates close and massive pumps begin removing water from the dock. This is perhaps the most critical phase of the entire operation. As the water level drops, the submarine gradually settles onto the blocks in a carefully controlled descent. This transition from floating to being fully supported on blocks is considered the most dangerous part of the process. naval engineers monitor every inch of movement, watching for any signs of instability. If the blocks aren't properly positioned, or if the submarine settles unevenly, the consequences could be catastrophic, potentially damaging a multi-billion-dollar vessel and endangering personnel. When the dock is completely drained, an impressive sight emerges: a massive submarine, fully exposed from keel to sail, suspended entirely out of water. For vessels designed to operate beneath the waves, this is their most vulnerable state, and the only time when maintenance crews can access the entire hull. Now the real work begins. Once dry, submarines undergo comprehensive maintenance that can last anywhere from a few weeks to several years, depending on the scope of work. For major overhauls, particularly those involving nuclear propulsion systems, submarines might remain in dry dock for 2 years or more. The maintenance performed is extraordinarily comprehensive. Crews inspect every inch of the hull for damage or corrosion. Propulsion systems are disassembled, cleaned, and rebuilt. Weapon systems are upgraded. Even the nuclear reactor might undergo significant servicing in specialized facilities designed to handle radioactive components safely. This work requires thousands of skilled technicians with specialized knowledge. Naval shipyards employ some of the nation's finest engineers, welders, nuclear technicians, and other specialists who work around the clock to keep these vital assets in peak condition. What makes submarine maintenance particularly challenging is the need for absolute precision. Unlike surface ships, submarines operate in the harshest environment on Earth, deep underwater, where immense pressure can exploit even the smallest flaw. A minor mistake in maintenance could lead to catastrophic failure when the vessel returns to depth. The American submarine fleet is a marvel of engineering and a cornerstone of our national defense. These silent sentinels patrol the depths of the world's oceans, providing a powerful deterrent against any who would threaten our nation or our allies. Their effectiveness depends entirely on the quality of their maintenance, making the work performed in these dry docks crucial to our security. Support our channel on Patreon. We create these in-depth documentaries with your support, bringing you exclusive footage and insights into America's military capabilities. Help us continue showing the incredible work of our armed forces by becoming a patron today. Link in the description below. Now, let's explore how these incredible vessels return to their natural environment, the sea, after repairs are complete. Once maintenance is finished, the submarine must undergo extensive testing while still in dry dock. Systems are powered up, pressure tests are conducted, and comprehensive inspections ensure everything is functioning properly before the vessel returns to water. When all systems check out, the dramatic process of refloating the submarine begins. This is essentially the reverse of the docking procedure, but with its own unique challenges. First, the massive gates at the entrance of the dry dock are prepared for opening. Then, water is slowly introduced back into the dock. The rate of flooding is carefully controlled. Too fast could destabilize the submarine as it begins to float off its supporting blocks. As the water level rises, the submarine gradually becomes buoyant again. This transition from being fully supported on blocks to floating freely is another critical phase that requires expert monitoring. The vessel must lift evenly off the blocks to avoid damage. When the dock is fully flooded and the submarine is completely afloat, the gates open and tugboats stand ready to guide the vessel out. This marks the submarine's return to its natural element, but it's still not ready for operational deployment. After leaving dry dock, the submarine undergoes sea trials, a series of increasingly demanding tests to verify that all systems function properly under real-world conditions. Only after successfully completing these trials will the submarine return to the fleet for active duty. The process we've just described represents one of the most impressive feats of engineering and logistics in the military arsenal. It requires perfect coordination between thousands of workers, precise timing, and extraordinary attention to detail. The margin for error is zero. These are nuclear vessels carrying some of the most sophisticated weapons ever created. What makes this process even more remarkable is the scale at which it occurs. The U.S. Navy maintains the largest and most advanced submarine fleet in the world, with over 60 submarines in active service. Each must cycle through maintenance periodically, creating a constant flow of vessels through the Navy's dry dock facilities. This maintenance capability is a crucial but often overlooked component of American naval power. Without these specialized facilities and the skilled workforce that operates them, the submarine fleet, a cornerstone of our nuclear deterrent and conventional naval power, simply couldn't function. But the dry dock infrastructure faces significant challenges. Many of these facilities were built decades ago and require extensive modernization to service the newest classes of submarines. The Navy has embarked on a $21 billion shipyard infrastructure optimization plan to renovate these crucial facilities over the next 20 years. This investment reflects the critical importance of submarine maintenance to national security. In an era of increasing naval competition, particularly from China and Russia, maintaining America's edge in undersea warfare remains a top priority. The ongoing modernization efforts will ensure that the Navy can continue servicing both the current fleet and the next generation of submarines, including the Columbia-class ballistic missile submarines currently under development. These new vessels will be even larger than existing submarines, requiring expanded dry dock facilities. Recent years have presented additional challenges to the Navy's maintenance capabilities. In early 2023, seismic concerns forced the temporary closure of 4 submarine dry docks in Washington state. These facilities sit along fault lines, and engineers determined that earthquakes could potentially damage submarines during maintenance. This closure affected nearly a quarter of the Navy's submarine dry dock capacity, creating maintenance backlogs and scheduling challenges. The Navy responded with expedited seismic upgrades, reopening the docks after reinforcement work was completed. The incident highlighted both the vulnerability and resilience of this critical infrastructure. Despite the setback, the Navy adapted quickly, reshuffling maintenance schedules and expediting repairs to minimize impact on fleet readiness. One of the most impressive aspects of submarine dry dock operations is the floating dry dock, a marvel of engineering that adds flexibility to the Navy's maintenance capabilities. Unlike traditional concrete dry docks built into shorelines, floating dry docks can be positioned wherever needed. These structures work on a simple but ingenious principle. The dock submerges by flooding internal tanks, allowing a submarine to be positioned overhead. Once in place, the tanks are emptied, causing the dock to rise and lift the submarine clear of the water. During World War II, the Navy built over 150 floating dry docks to support fleet operations across the Pacific. Between 1944 and 1945 alone, these facilities serviced over 7,000 vessels, playing a crucial role in maintaining America's naval advantage. Today's floating dry docks continue this proud tradition, providing maintenance capabilities closer to operational areas. In the world of submarine maintenance, the Submarine Tender represents another cornerstone of the Navy's support infrastructure. These specialized vessels serve as mobile repair facilities, capable of performing significant maintenance without the need for a traditional dry dock. While they can't provide the comprehensive access of a dry dock, tenders can handle many repairs, while submarines remain partially submerged alongside. This capability extends the operational range of the submarine fleet, allowing vessels to receive maintenance far from major shipyards. Most recently, the USS Frank Cable, one of the Navy's submarine tenders, completed a $56 million overhaul to extend its service life. These investments in maintenance capabilities demonstrate the Navy's commitment to keeping the submarine fleet at peak readiness. As we've seen throughout this exploration, the process of dry docking and launching submarines represents an extraordinary convergence of engineering, logistics, and skilled labor. It's a process refined through decades of experience, and one that continues to evolve as submarine technology advances. The submarines themselves are technological marvels, silent hunters carrying extraordinary offensive capabilities and serving as a cornerstone of America's strategic deterrent. But without the maintenance infrastructure we've explored today, these advanced vessels would be unable to fulfill their vital mission. The men and women who operate these facilities rarely receive the recognition they deserve. They work behind the scenes, often in challenging conditions, to ensure America's submarine fleet remains the most capable in the world. Their dedication and expertise are crucial components of our national defense. What's truly remarkable is how this maintenance capability has become a force multiplier for American naval power. By extending the service life of submarines and ensuring their peak performance, these facilities effectively amplify the impact of every vessel in the fleet. As naval competition increases globally, with nations like China rapidly expanding their submarine forces, America's maintenance advantage becomes increasingly important. The ability to keep submarines operating reliably for decades represents a significant edge that few other nations can match. The next time you hear about American naval power, remember that it rests not just on the number of ships and submarines in the fleet, but on the remarkable infrastructure that keeps them operating. The dry docks we've explored today are the hidden foundation of American dominance beneath the waves. From the thunderous flooding of a dry dock as a repaired submarine prepares to return to sea, to the precision engineering that ensures these vessels operate flawlessly in the most challenging environment on Earth. This is a story of American excellence in action. Our submarine fleet continues to patrol the depths, protecting American interests and projecting power globally. Behind each patrol stands the remarkable maintenance capability we've explored today, a silent partner in America's naval dominance. Thank you for joining us on this journey inside one of the most impressive engineering operations in the military arsenal. If you've enjoyed this exploration of submarine maintenance, please support our channel by hitting the like button and subscribing for more in-depth looks at the technology and operations that keep America safe. Until next time, fair winds and following seas.